Bonjour, Centani, and welcome to another episode of the Godfather Part 2 Minute. With me, Alex Robinson.
With me, Andy Robinson.
And we're going to talk about minute number 70 of the Godfather Part 2.
Alex, repeat after me.
Okay. Repeat after you.
I, Alex Robinson, solemnly swear
that
I am the co-host,
the
co-star of the Godfather Part 2 Minute. And I solemnly swear that my favorite character is Joey Zaza. Gotcha.
All right.
You said it.
Oh, you tricked me again.
Recorded forever.
I fall for that every time.
Alex, seriously, repeat after me.
All right, now what? My favorite character is Carlo.
No,
I know, very funny.
Alex. E minuto. Numero
70.
That's it.
70. All right. That means 70 in Italian.
Right. Yep. That's how old we're going to be if you don't get on with this minute.
Get there in a month. Minute number 70, Mikey explains to his confused capo that if Frankie lays down to the Rosato Brothers, our friend in Miami will think everything's cool. Meanwhile, Fredo gets a phone call from Roth's Sicilian messenger boy, Johnny Ola.
Oh, yeah.
Well, first thing we have to do is
crazy couple
ended on a cliffhanger last week, match game style. It ended with the phrase "keep your friends close, blank." So let's see if we have a match. Andy, what'd you put down for?
So how does this work?
We're actually
we both say it at the same time.
We're supposed to find out what the answer is first, and then see if either of us matched it.
Oh, well, that's not.
That's how it goes in the game. But if you want to do a different format, I'm open to suggestions.
I would think that it would be more interesting if we gave our responses and then the answer is revealed. Because then no one's going to know if we're right until, boom, the last minute.
Yeah, I guess that's the other way. It's like once you know what the answer is, then there's the drama of, oh, is this one going to match? Is this one going to match? So either way, it's going to... But I'll try it the other way if you want to.
I guess the game is different when you're trying to match with each other as opposed to matching with...
Well, we're trying to match what the movie really says.
Yeah,
that's the correct answer.
But in the real match game, the contestants are trying to match with each other.
No, they're trying to match with the contestants.
Oh, they are?
There's two contestants, and then there's 6 panelists.
Okay.
So they ask the contestant. They say the contestant, he's so old, he's blank, and then the everyone writes down their answers secretly.
Right.
The contestant then reveals the answer. Then one by one, they reveal
what they said, and they make all kinds of jokes.
Yeah. It's much more jokey than. So how do you want to do it?
Let's go with the original.
Okay, so the correct answer is keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer is the answer we're looking for. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first? Keep your enemies closer.
So it was keep your friends close, blank.
Yes.
Okay.
So what'd you put?
Well, you go first.
I said...
I'm just as confused as Frankie Five Angels.
Keep your friends close. And then I said every Friday night at Applebee's. That's my answer. Keep your friends close every Friday night at Applebee's.
Oh my gosh.
Not a match, unfortunately.
Not a match.
Great product placement, though. So,
well, I went more.
I get some free onion rings this week.
I went more. I used the context clues.
Okay.
I tried to get into Mikey's head.
You try to think like those around you think.
Yes, I tried to take a lesson learned from Pop.
Okay, what you got?
So my answer was keep your friends close. And send Fredo to the airport.
Okay, there you go. That's also acceptable. It's also good. Not a match, unfortunately, but
in hindsight, that's probably terrible advice for Mikey looking ahead, because that's why who ends up being a traitor to who.
Oh,
I don't want to spoil it.
So because Pop said keep your friends close, but send Fredo to the airport. That's ultimately what that's the way Pop wanted it. That's not the way Fredo wanted it.
And that's what drove Fredo to do what he did. Oh, terrible. Let's go to Applebee's. Come on.
All right.
Do you think when they refilm it and remix it when Costco owns the world, they're going to insert ads like that? We've talked about that a few times.
I think they will. I think they will CGI, when you never know when you have to make delicious KFC chicken wings for 30 guys or whatever. They're not going to go over the top about it, but like anytime food is mentioned, it'll be a brand name mentioned, or anytime like a car. Oh, is he going to bring the Pinto around, or any of the Pinto? They still sponsor stuff, right?
Yeah, that's right. So. Remember when Kay goes to the compound asking for Michael to give the letter to Tom Hagen? Yeah. She goes, "What's that?" and points to the car that's all blown up. Tom Hagen goes, "Oh, that was an accident, but the people survived because that Chevy Volt has AAA safety ratings, Kay."
You can find out more at www.
The characters at the time the internet didn't even exist. And they're giving web
people
addresses.
In the future aren't going to know that. They're not going to know when the internet started. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
It's like the telegram. Can you tell it to you if you watched a movie that was set in 1830 and they were showing someone with a telegram? Would you know the difference?
No. Is that too soon? 1930?
What do you mean? For the telegram?
Were telegrams not around at that point? Did you pick a random date, or did you pick one that?
Well, I said 1830.
Oh, you said 1830.
Yeah.
Did telegrams exist?
They were around during the Civil War, so I assume that they were around.
Oh, yeah.
Slightly before then, but I don't know if it was 1830.
Yeah.
Or not, so.
U.S. Grant. So get this message to Colenza. We need him to judge a dance contest down here in Antietam.
Stop.
Send Fredo to the airport. Stop. Cancel that order. Stop. Johnny Ola is the traitor. Stop. It was Barzini all along.
He's giving all.
Stop. I said it was Barzini all along. Tatali's a pimp.
Well,
Tatali's a pimp, and he's you can find him accompanying General Hooker's army.
So what if the Godfather took place during the American Civil War? Michael shows up in his would he be I guess he'd be Union.
Yeah.
Well, I guess depending where anyway, so
But Captain, he's a warrior. Damn it, I said enlist him again.
Well, so first of all, let's start from the very beginning of the minute, which is, of course, the iconic advice: keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer.
Wow. We made it.
We made it.
We made it,
Pop. What do you think about that phrase?
I mean, it's hard to... It's so iconic and embedded in the way we think every day.
Yeah.
I think about that every day, Alex.
Yeah. Well, because you try to think like those around you think.
Yes, that too.
That's the other Pop's life.
If I were a crime boss, I guess I would, or anyone who's looking to move ahead in their field.
Any big, powerful man. Yeah. Senators.
Yeah.
Congressmen.
So I guess they're no different from any other powerful man. So I guess
the only in crime?
No. I added that anyone powerful that's looking to get ahead in their field. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. Keep your enemies closer,
but only if you're powerful. So not regular people.
No. If really anyone, it's a strategy if you want to move ahead.
Yeah.
But it's kind of dark. It's assuming that you need to beat the other guy, that you can't get ahead through collaboration.
Well, it's definitely, I guess most people, if you ask them, like, do you have enemies? I would imagine most people don't think, like, I have enemies, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there are people who really want to see me ruined, you know what I mean? We all have people who are competitive with or whatever, but enemies are that's a different class of rivalry.
Yeah.
Here's something I pieced together that I don't think I knew, but this is not... Despite Michael's claim, Vito Corleone did not invent this phrase. It is from the classic work of literature, The Art of War by Sun Tzu, which was basically a guy giving advice to someone on how to fight a war.
How to win wars.
Yeah, how the art of war. So,
so do you think Michael should have credited him?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm wondering. Did Vito did Vito independently come up with this? Did he hear it? Did someone else teach it to him? And does Michael, who's a college boy, does he know that? Does he think his father invented it, or did he know his father was quoting Sun Tzu?
Yeah. Well, being a college boy and a war hero, I would have thought that he would have referenced.
And he owns stock in ITT and Bell.
Yeah, that's his right. It's his right to do so. I would have thought that he being
you owe him an apology is what I'm saying.
Being an educated man, I would have thought that if he knew the author,
if Mikey knew the author,
the true author, he would have credited him. He would have referenced him. My father always taught me, keep your friends close and his enemies closer. And Sun Tzu taught him that through the art of war.
I thought he was just going to go, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Sun Tzu. Well, so that makes it even... Now I disagree. Now I disagree with him more because... I don't think Mikey would quote. Mikey is trying to convince Frankie Five Angels, who's like an old school Italian guy.
Yeah.
If you're gonna sway him by either quoting some ancient Chinese warlord or the guy who he worked for 5 years ago, you're probably better off going with
that's true.
Probably better off going with the.
But he runs the risk if Mikey says, "My pop always taught me this," and says it. He runs the risk of Frankie saying, "Well, of course, he taught that to all of us, all the capos.
That's Sun Tzu.
It's Sun Tzu." Because remember, Frankie is a fan of history.
Oh, that's true. He is. So now the question is, does Frankie know it's Sun Tzu and he's just not saying anything to Mikey because he doesn't want to insult Mikey's? He doesn't want to insult him.
Mikey came across as trying to give me this wisdom, but it was rich crack. It was wisdom on a rich cracker. But it also got me wondering. I looked at Frankie Five Angels' face when Mikey delivered this iconic line, and Frankie seemed still to be trying to understand it. He was a brow.
He's a head for big deals.
Well, it's not too complicated, but it also got me thinking. We've been hearing that for years. So as soon as you hear it, you reference your already existing understanding of what it means. But Frankie, let's assume, is hearing this for the first time.
Yeah.
If you were hearing it for the first time, would you have to think about what it really means? Because Frankie's brow is kind of, he's thinking about it, and he doesn't just start nodding his head. You got to think about it. Think about it. think about it while you're doing a podcast.
Well, I guess the thing also is that's probably very contrary advice to Frankie. The idea that you would keep your enemies closer. Like, what? Yeah. Like, like you're saying I should team up with the Rosato Brothers. You know what I mean? Like, well, what does it mean to keep your enemies closer? So, especially
that's true. He's probably thinking about what does that mean to implement here? Yeah. You want me to go and have a drink with the Rosatos, which he ends up doing.
And look what happens.
Maybe he's following Mikey's advice. Yeah, Mikey told me to come hang out with you, Rosatos.
Sun Tzu said we should come and meet up.
Yeah. Or he says, "Hey, I want to meet up with you, Rosatos, to see if we can come to some peace." Sun Tzu.
And then the Rosato brothers like, yeah, we should totally meet up because they also want to keep.
Oh yeah, come on by, Frankie. Sun Tzu.
It sounds like everyone is just basically hanging out with their enemies. Like, if once this gets around, then if anyone wants to work with you, then that they consider you an enemy. So
at what point? Yeah. Well, it's a matter of proximity because he says keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Right.
So how do you ever know if you're the one being held close or closer?
I guess if you look around and there's no one closer than you, then
you're the enemy.
You're the enemy.
Sun Tzu.
Sun Tzu.
We need to come up with a modern day interpretation of all of that.
How so?
It's kind of like Sun Tzu's wisdom, or Don Corleone's wisdom, but in modern terms.
Yeah. I used to work in a bookstore, and I used to be in charge of the management section.
Oh, okay.
Which is
business management?
Business management, and I can't tell you how many different books there was about Sun Tzu and every ancient philosopher. It's like Aristotle in the boardroom. It's all like, Sun Tzu and for hiring. It's all like people take all these things and like adapt it for the modern day business person who wants to think that they're, like, I'm reading Sun Tzu,
I think, Mikey, I think Aristotle would be quite... He would be bored in the boardroom.
Oh.
Right?
I bet there is. I feel like we might have discussed this, but I feel like there probably is the Godfather's Guide to Management or something like that out there.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll ask, we'll answer.
I feel like we might have already answered this, but we'll have to.
And if there is, we got to get it and read from it.
Oh, yeah. Puts all right.
A top-down management style is frequently seen as domineering and micromanaging.
So do you have any more about the keep your friends close? I have a little bit more.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, one thing I thought of was like it reminds me of almost like that keep calm and carry on.
Oh yeah.
In that it seems like you can kind of replace the words with other things and make it, like keep your friends close, but keep your puppies closer. And I did find a couple of variations in that. Keep your friends close and keep your glass of wine closer.
Oh, yeah. I'm drinking a lot more wine these days.
And then there's variations of keep your friends close, but keep your chocolate closer, keep your ice cream closer. It seems like a lot of... If you're looking to get this advice on a piece of wood, of stressed wood, distressed wood with a script writing on it saying keep your wine close but keep your chocolate, there's a lot of options.
Is it always food?
I think it's always like ladies' comfort things.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Which
like,
is odd because this is Godfather wisdom.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
typically
but I don't think this is... Well, it's Sun Tzu wisdom.
It's
not Godfather.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Sun Tzu, the art of war. That's right. Yeah.
So it'd be the art of wine.
It makes sense that it'd be a woman's, quoted line.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I would be curious.
Maybe Sun Tzu was a woman. We don't know. I don't know.
I wonder if we should do an informal survey, find everyone who has one of these hanging up in their homes and go, what is that? What's the story with that quote? And see if they mention Lao Tzu, if they mention the Godfather, or if they just go, I love my mommy loves her wine.
They may not know.
Yeah, they might. People might not.
You think less than half the people would know? They have to know. Maybe not Sun. I don't think they'd know Sun Tzu, but the Godfather. Come on.
I don't necessarily.
I'm going to start using it, but not with enemies. Close? No, yeah, but I'm going to change it out. Like if we're ever going, let's just say to a concert,
okay,
and you go wander off, you're about to wander off to get food, but I want to make sure we get connected later. I'm going to say, Alex, keep your friends close, but keep your cell phone closer.
Yeah, that's good. Lao Tzu, Sun Tzu.
Sun Tzu. I put them in your favorites.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's kind of.
So I'm saying we should do a line of merch that says keep thinking of things that say keep your blank close, but your blanks closer. Think of different. It could be almost like you pick one from column A, one from column B.
Yeah.
Like that kind of a thing.
Because in the examples, you were only replacing column B, but you could just as easy replace column A.
Yes.
It might not make as much sense though.
We'll see.
Like keep your chocolate close,
but keep your wine closer.
It does work. That works great because it's great because you're setting it up for the punches. Hey, this is more important than the first thing I'm saying.
Yeah, because the first thing sounds good, but you really want is the second one. So so that's pretty much all I had on the keep your friends close and enemies closer.
Well, when I heard that line, I was wondering. I think you and I've talked about this, but we've never really made decisions about it. What are the most iconic lines? Mm-hmm. And we won't go into it too deeply now. I don't want to get online or anything like that. But more importantly, which movie of the three movies has the most iconic lines?
It's got to be one.
Are you sure about that? Name them. And I'm not talking Godfather minute.
I'm going to make him an offer I can't refuse.
Okay. Keep going.
Business, not personal. Leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Yeah.
Baba.
Yeah, pretty quickly you get into that second tier. I was gonna say clean it up.
I would say those are the most or bada bing if you're gonna count that as a quote. But so yeah, those are, I'd say, are the three. The business not personal,
make him an offer,
and,
you look terrible,
and leave the cannoli. We'll take the gun, leave the cannoli.
Leave the cannoli. That is a good one.
I mean, then you can even have stuff like what was the other one I just had? Like don't let anyone outside the family know what you're thinking.
That's true. Yeah, there are a lot of strong tier 2 ones.
Yeah.
Well, Godfather 2, I know we haven't made it all the way through the movie.
Let's see what you got.
This one,
we should have gone head to head. We should have gone quote for quote.
Dueling Brando, dueling. You know what? Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's
table this for now. We'll ask. We'll answer.
Yeah. Well, we'll each come. So you're picking GF1. Mm-hmm. I'm picking GF3.
What?
All right, hold on. It's not.
I was stoned in those. We certainly quoted a lot.
How about this? Just
when
to
I'm
be
not listening
fair.
to my Tony Bennett records.
Just to be fair, okay. I get 2 and 3 combined, and you get 1.
I will accept that charge,
okay.
But I will say you cannot use. I'm going to make him an offer. He can't refuse, even though it's in GF2.
Deal. So, you got it. Yeah,
because he's quoting a line from the other movie.
Are we going to say them at the same time, like head to head?
Well, we'll go back.
It would have been if we did them at the same time. It would have been great if we had both said that same line.
That's a good one. All right.
Yeah, we should give him points too. Come up with a scoring rubric.
Wow, this is gonna be okay. This is gonna get to.
I'm gonna work on it.
All right, let's do it.
I'm gonna go through the whole script.
Yeah.
What else you got, Alex? We got to talk about the follow-up dialogue. He explains to Frankie about this line and what it means, and then he says, "If I intercede in the Rosato Brothers' favor, Hyman Roth is going to be relaxed, and think I'm on his side, which is
hot for my deal."
Hyman is hot for. Whoa! Are you trying to tell him Hyman is hot for his deal? So, what do you make of that?
It seems pretty,
of that strategy.
It seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Well, you disagree.
Well, it doesn't totally make sense. Wouldn't it be So the Rosato brothers Frankie is part of Michael's family, right?
Yes.
The Rosatos are not.
They are not.
Michael interceding taking the Rosato brothers' side would be very suspicious to me, especially because they're infringing on the Corleone's territory. It seems like the mafia boss doth protest too much.
Well, but what would it be? But if it was the other way, that would be worse. If he was like, two of our under people are squabbling with each other, I'm not going to interfere. Like, if he's like, this deal is very important to me, I'm going to settle this. Like, he wants Roth to think he was hot for the deal, so that Mikey would do anything to keep the peace and to, like, he says to, theoretically, Hyman thinks that Mikey is saying to Frankie, look, I need this deal to go through, shut it down. Like, I can't have anything disrupt this deal with Roth.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
Then Mikey says, then I'll know who the traitor in my family is.
Yes.
Explain.
That does not necessarily follow it doesn't seem like a causal thing, but maybe he's just saying it'll buy him more time to and to also
okay, that makes sense.
I mean,
yeah, I could not piece together.
Well, here's my follow-up question. Does Hyman Roth want to
Who's the real Hyman Roth?
Does Hyman Roth want to be in business with Mikey or not?
Yes, there's nothing more important.
No, but I know that's what he says, but do you really think he does? Because he tries to have him killed.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he wants to be in business with him. He thinks he's going to last forever, and Mikey is a threat.
So why doesn't he just kill Mikey? Because he doesn't want... Like, he tries to kill Mikey once. Why doesn't he try again?
Just instead of kind of baiting him along.
Yeah, and why does he do that whole thing about the money and bring me the money and
I assumed that later, spoiler alert, that later when he brings the money to Cuba and gets deeper into this deal, then Roth was going to have him killed.
So you think Roth had no intention of giving him those hotels and all that stuff like that?
I don't think so. It just seems like a really odd pivot to try to have Mikey killed, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, we failed, so let's make the deal.
Well,
if the old man lives, Johnny, you'll make the deal.
Well, here's a hypothesis.
Okay.
Maybe he doesn't want him killed?
What?
Was this whole thing kind of, although it's pretty so I was on the internet and I was on the Godfather Reddit group and I asked the question of we're getting ahead of ourselves, but why does Tony Rosato say Michael Corleone says hello before he strangles Michael? Because this comes into play. And if the plan was to kill Frankie, then why bother doing that?
Yeah.
If the plan wasn't to kill Frankie, was the cop coming in part of then people on the internet were saying that was all orchestrated by Roth.
Everything.
He planned this beautifully.
So that the cop Frankie Five Angels would work with the FBI and testify.
Would flip against Mikey.
It's just so much easier to kill Mikey.
I know. And how did they know that Frankie wasn't was going to go testify? I don't know. It seems like just too many loose ends in that scenario.
That's too.
How did they know Frankie would was the cop a real cop or was the cop?
Yeah, the cop might not even be in the car, Sonny.
Yeah,
that's a lot of moving parts.
So if you believe that was all staged to get Frankie to flip, then you could also see that the attack could be staged to throw Mikey off his game, to freak Fredo out, as just a way of kind of rattling Mikey, as opposed to just outright killing him.
Well, what
if I wanted to kill you, you'd be dead already.
Oh, that's from the first one.
Yeah, that's from.
Was that the first time that was said in cinema? That might be that's an iconic.
I feel like that had to have been around already.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good. Oh man, you might. Yeah. What do I have a stone in my shoe and Joey Zaza. That's all I got. Huh. So but what are the advantages and disadvantages of Roth killing Mikey versus doing this whole elaborate scheme to eventually just have him taken down by the FBI?
Yeah, I'm not saying FBI, I believe I'm not saying I know. But clearly other people watching the movie are under the belief that this is all Roth. He played it
beautifully. The only thing I could think of without having put too much thought into it is that if the FBI takes down the Corleone family, they're taking down the whole family.
Yeah.
Because that's how they get everyone to rat on the next person up the chain. Whereas if you just kill Mikey, Frankie Five Angels takes over the family, or Anthony, your father's dead.
Well, most likely, especially since the Corleones were already they're on the run and they're being driven out of New York.
Yeah.
Chances are, if they killed Mikey, then they would probably just divide up the Corleone territory and take it over. You know what I mean? Kind of like what was happening with Barzini and Pete.
You mean Tattaglia? Wait, but are you
that son of a bitch?
Are you saying that the Corleone at that point did not have the muscle?
I spoil my children, as you can see. Wait, what?
If you're saying that they didn't have that kind of muscle at that point, it makes it sound like you already talked to Barzini.
Well, I'm afraid it's that time again.
What time is that?
Time to lower that paywall and remind people that they can go to godfatherminute.com/support and they can hear the rest of the episode for just $1 a week. Less than $1 a week.
That's right, Alex. And remember what Sun Tzu said.
What did Sun Tzu say?
No!